Hello, it's Sunday, September 28th, and I'm Tony Christopher, financial analyst at UFX Trading Support Center. This is your Week in Review. Today we will discuss some of the major financial events of the past week and how they impacted the currency and commodity markets. In currency news, the British pound climbed up to a two-year high versus its euro counterpart following last week's comments made by Bank of England's governor, Mr. Mark Carney. Overall, the sterling was able to strengthen against most of its major peers as the BOE decided to move towards the direction of rising interest rates. The only currency it depreciated against was the US dollar, following speculations that the Federal Reserve will raise rates next year. The British pound ended up last week gaining 0.9%, reaching a level of 78.8 pence per euro. In other news, the US dollar continued to rise versus the Japanese yen for a sixth straight day as economic growth in the States exceeded previous expectations. As a result, the Japanese yen continued to drop, reaching its weakest level in the past 6 years versus the US currency, following speculations that the government of Japan will finally allow its 1.2 trillion pension fund to purchase additional overseas assets. The Japanese yen dropped by 0.5%, ending the week at a level of 109.285 per dollar. Overall, for the month of September, the Japanese yen had lost 4.8% versus the dollar, setting its worst month since January 2013. On the other hand, the US dollar had its longest positive stretch since November 2012. The US currency strengthened by 3.7% in September and by 6.4% this quarter versus 10 major currencies. The dollar seems to be like a ball of momentum at this point. In commodities news, oil prices continue to strengthen. WTI crude oil experienced its biggest weekly gain in the month of September following speculations that US economic growth will increase demand. Crude oil experienced no price change on Friday. Brent oil for November ended at a level of $97. Overall, prices fell 1.4% for the week. WTI crude oil for November rose by $1.01, that's 1.1%, closing the week at $93.54 per barrel. Overall, WTI prices were able to climb by 1.2% last week. In other news, gold prices dropped following a report stating that the U.S. economy was able to expend more than expected since 2011. This caused a decline in demand for the precious metal. Gold is currently headed for its first quarterly loss for 2014 due to relatively low inflation and speculations that the U.S. recovery will cause the Federal Reserve to increase interest rates. Gold prices fell by 0.5% on Friday, closing the session at a level of $1,215.40. Overall, the precious metal had lost as much as 8.1% for the third quarter of 2014. This is the most gold had dropped in the past 3 decades. And that's our summary of the financial headlines from the past week. We hope that you've enjoyed this week's review and that you'll tune in tomorrow morning as we kick off the new trading week with the latest top market news. Until then, be sure to log into UFX.com for all of your trading needs. Your personal account manager is ready to answer all of your questions. UFX Trading Support Center wishes you a successful trading week.